Doom Eternal has quite rightly been lauded for numerous things, most notably for its near perfect combat loop, which makes Doom 2016 in comparison seem pedestrian. I mean, honestly, I think it's one of the most enthralling combat loops I've ever experienced in a game, and I'm not exaggerating, it's that good. Nothing gets my blood pumping like putting on some headphones, switching off the lights, turning the volume all the way up and making some demon guts soup. The constant resource management, demon variety, face-mounting soundtrack, and insanely fast-paced music. And I'm getting off track again, aren't I? This game, man. Okay, we all know why we like Doom and what Doom does well. That's not why we're here. The thing is, it not only looked to improve the combat with Doom Eternal, they also look to improve the formula in a number of other key areas. Probably most obviously the story. From the get-go, the opening minutes give the player a sense of where Eternal is going. The opening cutscene reveals the demons are now on Earth, and Doom Guy has some sort of ancient ship now. Next thing we know, we're slicing off some Hell Priest dude's head. It's pretty clear that this is a big departure from Doom 2016's rather contained story to Mars. I was kinda lost, to be honest. Regardless, to really explain where I am going with this video, I'm going to recount how I went through the motions playing this game on launch day.
For it is he that they fear, not man, or his armies. They fear the mark of the beast.
Now, as I was playing this for the first time, and you gotta remember, I was pretty ill-informed on Doom's story and universe at this stage of my slaying career. I played Doom 2016, but I don't really remember that much. I was like, sure, it's cool, but my mind was really on autopilot at this point, as I was really just thinking about the forthcoming ripping and tearing. However, that all changed when I dropped onto the Halified streets. As I took in my surroundings, I noticed the sound of crashing thunder to my left, almost like footsteps. I turned around, and to my amazement, I saw a massive mega demon casually taking an evening stroll. It looked awesome. I immediately opened fire. No demon was too big for the Slayer to tackle. To my initial disappointment, this massive demon was just part of the Skybox. The Skybox. For anyone who doesn't know, as per trusty Wikipedia, a Skybox is a method of creating backgrounds to make a video game level look bigger than it really is. When a Skybox is used, the level is enclosed in a cuboid. The sky, distant mountains, distant buildings, and other unreachable objects are projected onto the cube's faces, using a technique called cube mapping, thus creating the illusion of distant, three-dimensional surroundings. Importantly, this Skybox was not just some fancy background. I quickly realised I heard those very same footsteps in the structure I was just fighting in. I turned around to see this massive building that had seemingly been dumped by the mega demon. Then I remembered I picked up some text log a few minutes earlier. I opened my lore menu and quickly read through the entry. It turns out that this structure was in fact a Hell Barge, and that demon was a Titan. Atop mighty thralls, the Hell Priests oversaw the invasion of the mortal world. The thrall, slave titan of the underworld, carried the priests into the wake of battle, providing the priests with the vigil of Hell's advance from a strategically impervious emplacement. From their temple's perch, the priests would emanate a powerful sphenic influence, imposing greater coordination among the chaotic forces of Hell and increasing their battle effectiveness. The thrall, possessing superior resilience, proved indestructible by conventional weapons, thwarting all attempts by Armoured Response Coalition defensive forces. Only by severing the priest's psychokinetic tether could the Titan be neutralized, an act that could only be accomplished by infiltration of the temple itself. The importance of this chain of events cannot be understated. The Skybox had effectively got me interested into the world and lore of Doom when the cutscenes and main story had failed. This is the power of Skyboxes in Doom Eternal. Not just fancy backgrounds to make the level feel bigger than it really is, but actual, living, breathing parts of the game world. And this is what Skyboxes in all games should do. Make the players interested in the game world. Get them to take a step back for a moment and really take the view in. This was just the start, my friends. Doom Eternal does a consistent job of reminding you how good looking its skyboxes are. Later on in the first level, players will stumble across an imposing mech lying still in its own grave. Once again, my imagination was set wild. I honestly was surprised at first. I didn't know mechs were even a thing in the Doom universe. Immediately, I wanted to know more and set myself the task of reading each lore page I picked up. As I played through the rest of the game, I started to notice a subtle trend. In each level, the most impressive skybox is placed at the very beginning. And when you think about it, it's a very smart move from the developers, because they know any skyboxes in the latter stages of the level will most probably be ignored by players, as they will be too heavily entranced in the Doom dance they have so consciously crafted. Take this skybox at the start of Exalta for example. By the way, how badass is this? The Sentinel mechs dwarf the Arc mechs we just saw on Earth, and that Titan looks fierce. Anyway, as I was saying before I got distracted, this is right at the start of the level, like 5 seconds in. Smart, isn't it? I really do feel skyboxes are one of the most underappreciated aspects of game design. People just don't talk about it. As cringy as it sounds, they really make games feel alive. Everyone remembers playing the second level of Halo CE for the first time and looking up at the ring, curving across the sky. Despite the primitive graphics of 2001, it really made us believe we were on an alien world. A little detail I really like in some of Eternal's skyboxes is that cacodemons and gargoyles can be seen patrolling the expanses, hunting down any last remaining souls so they can be transported to Necroville. It really sells the Hell on Earth apocalyptic aesthetic. Skyboxes can really trick the player into thinking it's not just a linear first-person shooter, but a sprawling world to explore. Personally, I always get really riled up when streamers just completely ignore a stunning looking skybox. Like, just stop and look for a moment, just look and just appreciate for a second. Is that too much to ask? I mean, look at this one. If I imagined a city that extracted souls from bodies to make energy, it would look like this. Even goddamn Samuel Hayden agrees that these skyboxes are impressive.
Magnificent, isn't it?
Regardless, Doom Eternal represents an improvement on all levels of the game's visual design over its brother Doom 2016. And while I remember 16 was a good looking game, it is nowhere near as memorable as Eternal, and that's not just down to graphical fidelity. The different locations visited in the single player really give id the freedom to switch up the art style. As players travel to fantastical places like Urdak, the developers really communicate the plentiful variety that the Doom universe can offer. And this gives the opportunity to show off the different architecture of the demons, sentinels and makers. And by doing so, the player is never bored of one location, as you constantly travel to new places. One minute you could be fighting deep in the hell growth of the Super Gore Nest. The next, you could be exploring an ancient sentinel city. Eternal has it all. It makes me want to read all of the codex entries, look up the Doom wiki, or watch lore videos. Something I'm not really inclined to doing usually in any game. With this video, I really just wanted to shed a light on one of the most underrated parts of such an amazing game. A lot of work goes into all aspects of a great game, and it all should be appreciated. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. I'm going to leave you to bask in the glory of the BFG 10,000 being fired at full power.